Hi, I'm Gary Zacharias. This is, let's see, video number 7. We've worked our way through single paragraphs, we've worked our way through multi-paragraph writing, talking about opening paragraphs, body paragraphs, and then concluding paragraphs. And I thought maybe this time we could talk about, all right, now it's up to you. You've got to write an essay. And so a lot of people struggle with getting an idea and then how to proceed and get it down on paper, get it on the computer. So we're going to work on that for this particular episode. I wrote down some ideas that you might use to get the old thoughts moving. Most of the time a teacher will just assign a topic to you. Well, in a way that's simple. You have to write on that. You don't have any choice. Go. But sometimes you'll have a teacher say, you pick the topic. Well, a lot of people struggle with that. They say, I don't know what to write on. So here's a list of just some possible things you might consider. Do a self-inventory. In other words, say, well, how do I spend my time? What's interesting to me? What am I an expert in? And don't sell yourself short. Don't think you're not an expert. You are. Sometimes you're experts in things that I don't know anything about at all, and I find it really interesting as a teacher. So maybe you're an expert in film watching. Okay, then maybe do a film review. Maybe you're a sports person. You play a particular sport. Then you're an expert in that field. So you might want to start, just make a list of where have you been, who do you know, skills you have, things you spend your time on, and your money. Right? So that's just a self-inventory. You might just keep your eyes open and your ears open. In other words, you listen to a radio show or you watch a television show or you see a movie or whatever it is and something just captures you. You say, I don't know much about that. That might be interesting. Or what do they mean by that? And so you start dragging information out from whatever that source is. How about third thing is called clustering. You write down one single word and then you make a spin-off that comes off of that word, and you may end up with one of those topics that you hadn't thought of 5 minutes before. So I'll give you a quick example here. I'm a fan of history writing. I love history. So maybe I start off on a blank piece of paper and I just write down in the middle World War II. Well, that's way too big and nothing immediately comes to mind, but that's no problem. I just say World War II, I stay focused, and I start drawing arrows as I think of ideas tied into World War II. So maybe one thing is the Eastern Front, where the Germans fought the Russians, so I put an arrow there, Eastern Front. And then I come back to my idea of World War II. Maybe I think of George Patton, who was an American general. So I put another arrow and I put Patton. And then maybe I go somewhere else and I go somewhere else, and I've got all these ideas that come off and I go, well, I don't know, maybe I'll still look at some of these other ideas. So one of my arrows that spun off was the Eastern Front, Germans fighting the Russians. So I now make that my new object to cluster on. I think, okay, what is there about the Eastern Front that I find interesting? Maybe it's the huge tank war that they had there. Thousands of tanks were involved. Okay, so maybe that's my topic. But I started big, spun off, and then gradually focused on something. So that may be helpful to you to consider trying that. Another thing is just brainstorming. Just start listing, making words or phrases. That's called free writing. Just get some ideas down that are just coming into your head. Don't criticize yourself. Don't shut off your brain. Just let it put down some ideas. Another thing might be asking questions. You see a movie, you wonder, well, who spent the money on this movie? What was the theme of the movie? How did they pull off those special effects? So you're just curious and you just start asking questions. Something else is to keep a journal. A lot of people jot down items. I do every day. I keep a journal of what's been going on. You might try blogging or look at other people's blogs and see what interests you, what fires you up, what makes you angry. So these are at least a few things that you can begin to do to get yourself generating ideas. You got to be an idea generating person if you're going to write. But let's assume now you have an idea. Okay, you have a pretty good idea what you want to do. I want to walk you through how you can pull off a good essay in some kind of order. And this is going to seem a little bit odd to you at first, but I'm getting it out of the textbook. Again, I'll send you the PDF of it for free. Just email me. I'm on page 37. Okay, so page 37. How can you create an essay? An essay that will at least be adequate for whatever you're doing. It'll get rid of that tyranny of that blank computer screen that scares so many people. This will start getting you some ideas down. So I've got an order here that's not necessarily the order of first paragraph, second paragraph, third paragraph. And you're going to say, this seems odd, but hear me out. So here we go. Number 1, page 37 near the top. Come up with a thesis statement. Now that's not going to be your first sentence in your essay, is it? It's going to be the last sentence of your opener, but don't worry about that now. I'm saying let's go this way, and I'll tell you why as we walk through this list, why I think this works well. So first, have a thesis statement. If you don't have a thesis statement, you don't know where your essay is going. It's like getting in a car with somebody who says, hey, why don't you come ride with me? And you say, where are you going? And they won't tell you. That's kind of unnerving. All right, so you can't write an essay unless you know the direction that you're taking. So first step, thesis statement, just one sentence. That's it. Remember, you've clustered, you've brainstormed, you've done something, and you've got your idea. What's going to be your thesis? What do you want to say about this topic? Okay, so maybe you've had to do some research. Now you know what your thesis is. Here's what you want to say. Okay, fine. Number 2, look at your thesis. Make a list of 3 things that you could say to support it. Now that, in other words, these will be your body paragraphs. You made a claim. Let's not start writing the paper yet. Let's make sure you have support. If you don't have support, stop, go back, change your thesis. So you see, I'm trying to save you some time. I'm not saying write your opener first, then write your next paragraph, and then write your next paragraph. You may do 2 or 3 of those, and then you run out of ideas, and you go, oh, I shouldn't have done this paper. And you've invested so much time. I'm trying to save you time, sweat, tears, and blood. Okay? So, number 1, just write your thesis statement out. Number 2, make a list of how you think you might want to support it. By the way, I'm going to show you an example in a minute. Okay? So, how about number 3? Number 3 says you have these 3 items. How do you support each of those items? So examples and stories and illustrations and statements by others and description and facts. Make a list. And if you can't make a list, guess what? That's not a good topic sentence. It's not a good paragraph. If you can't think of any support, throw it out. If you can't think of any support for any of your paragraphs, throw the whole thing out. Start all over. But again, you haven't written complete paragraphs yet. You've just done real short sketching out of your ideas here. Step 4. Okay, now what? Remember, you wrote a thesis statement. Now you should feel very comfortable. You know your thesis, you've got your paragraphs, you've got the support. This paper is going to write itself. Now you can get clever, go back for number 4, create your opening paragraph, last sentence will be the thesis. Okay? Number 5, you got to have a conclusion. Well, we've already talked about how to pull off a good conclusion. That was in the last video. Write your last paragraph out. Now all you have left are what? The 3 body paragraphs, but you know what you're going to say. So this paper should write itself. Let me show you an example. Go to page 38. Okay, so here's my example. Let's say I want to write a paper about some leisure time activities. So I think and I cluster and I brainstorm and I go, well, I really like hiking. Okay, so number 1, remember I'm not writing out my first body paragraph, just my thesis. Hiking in the local hills has become a lot of fun for me lately. That's it. 1 sentence. Now, I've got to prove whether this is something I think I could really pull off. So number 2, what are my reasons? Why did I say I liked hiking? For one thing, hiking is great exercise. Okay, so there's one reason. How about number 2? Secondly, hiking is great because it gets me away from modern life's irritations. Okay, I think that's reasonable. Number 3, the best thing about hiking is all the interesting things I encounter. So I have those 3 points, but do I know if I have any support or not? I go to step 3. Step 3 says, now, plug in what you think the support will be. If you can't think of any support, toss that idea. Start with something else. Well, here we go. Number 3, for one thing, hiking is great exercise. Why would I say that? There are uphill struggles. I have to kind of maintain a balance. I can go as fast or as slow as I need, and it's a lot less damaging than basketball. I used to play a lot of basketball and got smashed in the chest a few times and a lot of lumps and bumps. And I'm not a big guy anyway, so I get tossed around all over the court, so this is a little bit easier on me. Now, at that point, you see, I feel very confident I can write that paragraph. I can put in those kinds of details. So I go, I like this. I'm going to keep going. Secondly, hiking is great because it gets me away from modern life's irritations. Why did I say that? What kinds of irritations? So I made a list. No phones, no computers, no noise, no bills or solicitations. All right, so I go, yeah, okay, I could make this a paragraph. I'm happy. I've got 2 of my body paragraphs now. 3, the best thing about hiking is all the interesting things I encounter. Did you notice something about my list? Is it shorter or longer than the other 2? Well, it better be longer because what did I say? The best thing. I'm putting this in order of importance, going from lesser to more important. If that's more important, I better have more stuff there. So here's what I said. Strange trees and bushes. Abandoned cars. Rock formations. I've taken pictures of them. Some of them look really good. Flowers that I've seen out there. Weird people. Oh, I've got some stories about that some other time. Rattlesnakes and other animals. I have come so close to rattlesnakes. I finally got smart. My wife got smart and got me some snake boots so I can go out there and not end up being a victim and sitting in a hospital. But do you see what I've got here? I have 3 good potential paragraphs. I'm very confident. I know I can write this paper. So now I go to step 4. What's step 4 again? Now that I've got the bare bones, kind of an outline here, now I go back, very confident, I can write the first paragraph. There are lots of ways to use leisure time. Let me stop there for just a minute. Can you tell what kind of opener I'm using? No, it's not a quotation. It's not startling. I'm not doing a story yet. Can you hear a funnel is going to happen? I'm going to start broad, and then I'm going to move to my topic. So I said, there are lots of ways to use leisure time. Popular ones might include sports, movies, and shopping. Okay, so that's a smaller list. But there's one. Okay, I went from lots to popular ones to the one I want to do. There's my funnel. But there's one lesser leisure time activity that I enjoy. Hiking in the local hills has become a lot of fun for me lately. There's my thesis. So does that make sense? I'm doing a funnel. I'm really happy with it. This paper is going to be a breeze. I still have the conclusion. That's number 5. All right, so let's see what I did for that. I really enjoy hiking around here. I get a good workout. I avoid modern society for a while, and I encounter odd things every time I go. Do you hear the echo there? Those were my 3 points. I just said them again. So I'm reinforcing my thesis. I look forward to this weekend when I can lace up my boots and head out again. Do you hear the look to the future? That's a good way to end. If I'd found a quotation, I could have used that, but that's what I decided to go with. So this essay is set. Now I just do my body paragraphs, and this is going to be a beautiful piece of writing. I'm happy with it. I'm confident with it. And you can be confident too. Think about trying this process, this 5-step process. It will actually make it easier, even though it seems out of order. It'll make it easier because you start with the small stuff and see if there's a problem. You go fix it before you create the whole essay and realize it's a disaster. So I hope that's helpful to you. So we have covered all sorts of stuff, the paragraph and the essay. I'll probably move on to some grammar issues next time. And again, I thank you for watching, and have a good day.